49.5 to 50.5.
Crazy.
Tight stuff.
Crazy. To be fair, Ollie, on the predictions, I have said that Parabellum would win. And the reason why is
I know. I know.
my predictions are terrible, so if I predict Parabellum, then that means G2 will win. Big brain. There it is.
I mean, G2 are going for everything they can get at this point. They're going for the good karma, getting the have funs in chat. That's always a good little bit of karma coming on in. As far as the bans go, we're going to see Doke be removed straight away there by G2. Parabellum going to opt for a more typical Thatcher ban here on Villa. This is where we can see the sort of pressurizing defender bans, whether we do see a Valkyrie removed, whether we see something like a Wamai. Wamai is going to come out there. It's so powerful for holding things like main stairs on Villa. You need every ounce of utility you can as a defender, and without the Wamai, makes that job a little bit more difficult. Yeah,
we've seen a lot of the Brazilian sides really specialize in that Wamai, being able to use it, like you said, for those kind of staircase holds, and especially if we look at Aviator in games, that study, that's where every team wants to try and take control off if you're an attacker. If you can stack up as much utility as you can and try and delay that, it's great. With that being eliminated now, it does free up the attackers a little bit more, so you're probably going to be expecting more nade kills, I would say, more than anything, which I think has been featured quite heavily. Whenever Wamai is gone, the nades just start raining in.
Yeah, they really do. You know, Iana being a popular pick there, Sledge being a must pick. I think Sledge's stats throughout the course of group stage would have been among the highest picked. Not going to see any 6-pick initially here from Parabellum. Instead, just going to be rocking with the good old Ashe Sophia combo. We are going to, however, see a mirror into a clash.
Mirror clash, very similar operators in terms of what they can do. Information at the end of the day. Clash is more of a walking mirror window. It's kind of the comparison we would make with Monty, where it's like a walking drone. Very similar. You can compare that with Clash as well. G2, straight off the rip, Ollie, going for the kitchen defense, usually the tertiary bomb site. Mostly we see the Aviator in games get played first, but no. They're going to go for, which is normally the third pick bomb site. I like the Pulse. I think Pulse, for me, is one of the most underrated operators in Villa. Teams don't understand how strong he is. The information you can gain, couple that with the destructibility that Villa has, which is, if you look at the top floor, about 80%, maybe more, is wooden. Everything. I think there's some areas, top of the red stairs, just right beside the statue door, walk in, and that is it pretty much. Everything else you can get blown up from.
Yeah, the information game is going to be key here on Villa, and that's demonstrated with how many C4s are being brought on the side of G2 as well. Uno going to be able to use his heartbeat scanner to discover that information and then be able to ping out for the rest of his team. Kayak on the Clash as well is just going to be such a difficult thing to try and work your way on through. There are, of course, ways and means of doing it. It requires a bit of coordination, but it usually just does quite a lot to slow down attacking pushes. And that's what G2 are going to be trying to do here. They're going to try and buy as much time as they can by defending that top floor. We can see that Clash is going to be playing in over toward Astro, but we do have Uno underneath already. Able to gather information here for free, as there have been some reinforcements committed there inside of Library.
That's great, and that is so valuable for G2. Now they know that they're trying to take in towards that side of the map, have the information. So yeah, overall, I think this Pulse pick definitely working out. Looks as if he has been spotted out, though. As you see, a yellow ping has landed right beside his feet. So we have Kayak above. Nobody's supporting him as well, which is a little bit surprising. It's just a Clash by himself, but I suppose you have the hatch. You can drop down if needed, but for the most part, already it seems that Parabellum are going to try and take the aggressive standpoint. Oh, Penguin almost found the second kill on the Citizen, but he's lucky to get away, and Citizen inside of China pulls away that shot, and now it is 4 versus 4. I say that, Penguin finds another.
Oh, Citizen does come in with a refrag there, really keeping his team in it, hitting a double kill inside of this round. An equal 3 versus 3. There's still 1 minute and 15 left. There's a lot of time here, really, for Parabellum to work with.
There is Euphoria as well, and the Nomad can try and cover off some of the flanks, which will be great in those later stages. If Parabellum are worried about a potential rotate from the Virtue and the Jaeger, that will be put to bed. Citizen has done fantastic throughout this competition, and he is continuing that form once again. Parabellum perhaps looking to push in through Memorial. Sledge in a great position. Eska ready to push onto the bomb site, but that Clash is going to be the main thing they have to get through, Ollie.
It really is. The Clash in the dying few seconds is going to be extremely valuable. It does leave G2 1 gun down, though, so it puts a little bit more pressure onto Citizen and Virtue. Esker maybe going to threaten a grenade here, looking to open up some holes and wait for a little bit of intel to come on through. There's still 6 drones left for Parabellum, so providing they're in the right hands, there's an opportunity to actually gather this information. But with only 20 seconds left, something's going to have to happen. Virtue, he's able to pick up Esker. Spirits before that, just taking down Citizen. So really leaving Virtue in a little bit of a tough spot here, as Kayak is getting pressured as well. But Virtue's going to win his 1 versus 1. Spirits is being clashed, and this round is likely going to be won out on time. Even if Kayak dies here, with the position of the diffuser, it's going to be very difficult to do anything. Kayak manages to save the KD, only gets downed there as the time does tick off before he can be finished off. G2, good start.
Kayak tried his hand there, didn't he? Bit of a spin, but not working for him. Virtue, give credit. That is where the roam potential of Villa comes in massively. Him being able to creep below, coming up those red stairs, finding that important engagement. That was the diffuser as well, which I think is the main thing to get across, is that he stopped the diffuse carrier. Clash, how much did the Clash really impact that round? I didn't see that much value out of it, apart from kind of that later stage being able to delay, but mostly everything was won by Citizen and Virtue. They are the ones who were getting the engagement. Citizen, again, continuing that trend. Virtue, who, for me, has had a pretty sloppy tournament so far. Someone who did have, I think, a really big moment against Dark Zero, where he looked back to his big 1 versus 3 clutch that he got, but other than that, we have not seen the same Virtue that we have known from, for example, last year, whenever he was still on Fnatic. This guy was amazing, but we haven't seen that same person. Can we see him in a best of 3 on the main stage?
I mean, he started off round 1 exceptionally well. 2 kills, 0 deaths. Probably the best way that you could look to start in terms of a team contribution, unless you can hyper carry and grab the ace yourself, but that isn't something that you really want to be seeing all too often. It was a nice hold from G2. It gives them the luxury now of going upstairs into Aviator and Games Room. Slightly different lineup. Kayak this time going to be playing on the mute. The Clash, obviously, a bit of a pocket pick there for what they wanted to do downstairs in Kitchen. Makes a lot of sense to switch things up. I like the addition here of Kanto's change onto a Rooney. I think that's something that could work quite well.
Missing out on the Jaeger, but then again, the laser gates can still be used in that kind of element where you can deny projectiles being tossed in. Is it as reliable? I mean, ADS placements, you can get some pretty sneaky ones, which is kind of like the pros and cons.
I think the advantage in this situation is that Parabellum don't look to be pressuring the grenades. They're only bringing 2.
Yeah.
Now, when you can bring 4 very easily, if you bring Guyana instead of the Ash or something like that, that you can start worrying about the Jaeger a little bit more there. But 2 nades? Is it really worth something, you know, is it really worth worrying about? We've not seen Jaeger be picked as much as we usually do so far inside of the playoffs.
Which is surprising. Jaeger for the longest of time as Esker takes a bullet to the back from Spirits. But he's still fine, healthy enough still to play out this round. G2, they are heavily pressuring that library side once again. Downstairs, trying to find out the information with a pulse. And as you can see, Ollie, they have Kayak with Uno. That's another C4, so there is potential of a double C4 kill from below.
Essentially, Kayak's just waiting down here to get himself a C4 kill, and then he's going to be able to make a rotation on up if possible. Uno just going to wait and try and call out. Make sure that it's guaranteed. It's always very difficult when you're trying to communicate that with your teammate, as opposed to being in the scanner yourself and then being able to toss it on through. But Kayak gets the job done there. Beautiful teamwork coming in from Uno and Kayak downstairs. Now, they do have air jabs to worry about. They're not going to be able to get back upstairs so freely, but they can continue to harass and challenge inside of this library, because the vertical pressure, or the reverse vertical pressure, is going to be enough, at the moment at least, to back Parabellum off.
And Uno still has his own C4 as well, but he's not going to need it! He just floor bangs him! Oh my word! Filth! Absolute filth from Uno!
Penguin going to find a frag back in return, but still going to leave Penguin and Esker in a pretty unfavourable situation. Citizen there with the pre-fire onto Esker. Esker carelessly sprinting around that 90 corridor. Penguin now locked into study. Finds one onto Kai because he rotates back on up. 40 seconds left to play, and still information being able to be gathered. The benefit there of Uno going for the floor bang is he's still got a C4 here. It's not even going to come to that. Citizen, he goes for a stroll towards East Stairs, finds Penguin. G2, another round.
Well, G2, dominant. I'm trying to keep that inner fanboy at bay for the meantime, Ollie. Trying my hardest. It's early days yet. I'm not going to start saying, yes, come on. I'm not, you know.
Here's the thing.
go there.
G2 are doing really well at the minute. they are relying so heavily on library. As soon as Parabellum figure that out, and they say, you know what, we're going to take control of library. We have a Nomad, we have things, we have ways and means of locking that area off. Because if this Pulse is going to be a consistent pick from Uno, which it looks like it might be, that's what they're going to use to gather a lot of their information. Parabellum now need to react.
One thing that I did notice about G2 setup is if library was a target for Parabellum, there were a lot of vertical holes actually being made with inside of the bomb site. We've seen Kanto using the robotic arm on Aruni to punch out those holes, and you have straight sight lines onto the doorways off library. So not only do you have people in library, but then you also have Overwatch support from above. So even if that was to be the case, I think Parabellum would still have a very difficult time.
I mean, G2 love library that much, they're actually going to take us here as the site. This is quite a rare treat. We don't get to see this all too much. We see it a little bit inside of BR6, but we don't get to see it all too much in Europe.
So this bomb site, for people who may have not been kind of used to seeing this be played at a competitive level, it is a bit of a tricky one. And the reason why it's tricky is that A bomb site, that living room. There is a blind spot where you can plant as an attacker, and it's very, very difficult for defenders. So if we want to go down onto the library, you will see a pillar, okay? That pillar right behind that bomb, that is a blind spot. If you cannot get an angle, the only way you can deny that is either with, obviously, smokes or a C4. That is why it's not as favored for the defenders. Very, very difficult to deal with. Not only that, you also have two walls that lead directly into the bomb site, yeah? But one thing that a lot of teams have started to do as well is they would hold in towards Aviator in games. And inside a vault, you can find a sight line onto the breach. So you can open up these vertical holes above, and you will have full coverage of anyone who tries to go for that sneaky plant.
C4s, you say? G2 have 4. They have invested heavily into these C4s. It's been something that's been a bit of a trend so far on Villa. They've been very successful with it. Kanto is going to be that player upstairs that's going to have those vertical angles to work with inside a vault. Sona trying to get this roam clear done, knowing that people are going to be playing in upstairs. Gets the glimpse, but isn't able to land any significant damage.
One thing as well about this setup from G2 is because those angles inside a vault are so dangerous and you just cannot play against them if you're trying to push directly onto site, it forces Parabellum to try and challenge above. So now they are forced into a system where they constantly have to try and clear out these roamers, and as we know, that's going to take time. They could lose people on the course of that, and hey, we've seen plenty of times that teams have tried to attack the roamers and the round has been ended before we've even seen any bomb site action.
I really like the position of that Banshee as well behind the sofa. It's just going to be so difficult to push on through. Kanto finding the angle onto Penguin. That roam clear hasn't been done sufficiently. We do actually see Sono going upstairs and maybe trying to challenge there onto Kanto. He's just going to be stood outside of Aviator at the moment. Got the chance at some pot shots, but nothing really too significant. Parabellum have looked quite slow in this round, and I think it's maybe surprised them a little bit that they've had to deal with this site. It really has gotten them caught in the weeds. Eska going to cook a nade, maybe going to go for some nice timing here. Spirits will take down Uno. With it, a lot of information on the pulse.
Yeah, Parabellum just struggling, and one addition as well is going to be the mirror window above that Virtue has. Extremely strong. It covers off the maps area entirely. Nobody can push in towards Kanto. The only way that they can actually push him is if they open up the vault wall, but they don't have enough time to do so. A plant is now currently being planted by Parabellum, and G2 have let this slip. Eska has also found Citizen, and a quick rotate from two Parabellum players have got them out off the bomb site. Now it's going to be a retake for G2, but it's not working for them. Eska working that window to its full potential, and now G2 on the back foot. They were not ready for this quick plant. They let them slip through their fingers, and now G2 on dire straits.
It is one of the hard things about this site is that there's so many angles that you can get a sneaky little plant down onto. Eska going to pick himself up a triple. Spirits finds the final kill onto Kanto. There might have been fantastic vertical hold there from G2, but ultimately it was not enough. Parabellum saw an opportunity and they took it.
They did. They eliminated the Pulse, the information operator on G2 off the board. You know, like the kind of analyst desk highlighted was Echo. We're not seeing Echo be played. Valkyrie obviously being banned as well. There isn't too many information operators that we would expect to see from G2 at the moment. I think that comes down to just one simple slip, yeah? They miss out on somebody running past the vertical hole. Kanto's probably thinking, oh, nobody got past me, but you look away for a second and they're in. It's one of those, it's the timing. it is what it is, but fair play to Parabellum being able to punish G2 for a little bit sloppy with some of their sightlines.
It's just narrow angles that Kanto's dealing with. At any time that you're prone and then trying to make use of a vertical, you've got such a slim margin there of vision. It's always going to be very difficult indeed. G2 not going to give us another go downstairs inside of that living room and library. Instead, they're going to take us to kitchen. They're going to try and repeat their success of round number 1. This time, Kayak hasn't six-picked off onto the Clash. We saw him, he initially hovered the mirror in round number 1 and then six-picked away. This time he's going to lock that mirror window in, so we're going to see where that gets played. I wouldn't be surprised to see it off-site and maybe, deploying one upstairs so that his team can, make use of that and then play another one down on the site. As there wasn't a significant top floor hold, really, last time from G2. I don't think they'd invested in it all too heavily. There was a pulse from Uno that was trying to gather a lot of information.
Library.
He ended up being first blood because he got droned out by Parabellum, and there was a bit of an aggressive hop over the balcony that resulted in, a bit of a messy gunfight. It was almost a bit of a barrel stuff, really, but it got the job done. G2 was still able to come away with the round, but this time it looks as though they're going to invest a little bit more heavily into this top floor hold.
Bit of a questionable mirror window from Kayak looking in towards Trophy, because if you go on the Astro window, then that mirror window is useless. So yeah, I think they're really banking on Parabellum not trying to pressure that window. So I mean, if they are and they've done the research and know that Parabellum, for this certain take, they do not pressure the Astro window at all, then yeah, it's going to help them quite a bit. Parabellum, how are they going to deal with this one? We're seeing a split push from them. We've got 2 guys outside bedroom, the rest of them pushing in from study. Again, Uno on the pulse, trying to find that early information. He has taken a bit of damage, but he's still alive, and as long as he's alive, Ollie, he can still feed that information throughout the entire round back to his team.
Uno's job is literally intel. That's all G2 are concerned with, is stay alive and gain the information. Virtue going to get taken out there, kind of baited by the drone. Zeska would have had a good read on that. Kayak going to win the engage, though, does grab the kill back as a trade, but we're already seeing just how exposed this mirror window is. Kayak's worrying about 2 angles here, almost on the direct opposites of each other. It's not even going to matter. He takes down Spirits, drops the hatch, gets himself back to side. That is job done there for Kayak.
Wow, he's done excellent. I thought, yes, you get 1 kill, but there were so many people from Parabellum pushing him, but he still manages to get the kill and also get out alive. Massive stuff from Kayak. That's an extra man that they need. Uno still with that information, gaining as much as he can. Penguin has moved in towards Laundry. He's actually going to try and challenge. That's the hard breacher as well. You cannot be giving yourself up like this. And Citizen
look at the confidence.
Oh, G2, they do not care. They do not care today, Ollie.
Citizen taking the gunfight with the pistol in hand. Still 2 C4s in hand for the players of G2. Uno going to be able to gather as much information as he likes, as the pulse is still going to be up. There's arguably not sufficient soft destruction now to make any significant holes. Sure, we've got the ITA, but time isn't really going to allow for that. Sona's going to have to push his way on through. He's likely going to be spotted on a heartbeat scanner, as these are quite short distances that we are dealing with. Kanto, he knows that there's somebody that's going to be pushing him from that doorway very shortly, as Sona is just pre-firing desperately to see if there's anything that he can find. But the discipline on G2 that's being displayed here is commendable. They're not peeking, they're not giving away these careless 1v1s. I say that, Kanto's just going to walk out bold as brass and take down Sona with the SMG-11. Euphoria now left in an impossible spot. 1 versus 4, 17 seconds. Kanto picks the final kill up, grabbing himself a double on the round. That's G2. Another good defense downstairs.
G2. Wow. This is the G2 that we all expected. Not the G2 that was in group stages. This is the one. Every single player has came today and they're ready to kill. All of them. We looked at group stages. Citizen always had his moments. Everyone else was kind of lagging behind. Now we're seeing everyone turn up, which I think is the big difference today for G2.
I mean, the Yak playing upstairs. Beautiful. So we questioned the mirror window.
He did extremely well.
And the mirror window was confirmed to be questionable, because we could see as he was getting pushed, he didn't really know which way to look. There was almost 3 or 4 angles he's trying to check. He still manages to get away with 2 kills, and his life, and his C4. Incredible stuff there from G2. Their information game here is really what is doing them proud. This time, they're not going to go for the pulse. Maybe feeling like it's a little bit too predictable, maybe feeling that they've got other ideas. I'm also kind of surprised, Demo, that we're now into round number 5. Parabellum's still yet to pick an IQ. Now, I know that we talk about IQ and having value and, wanting to try and play other operators that bring maybe a little bit more, but if someone is consistently bringing a pulse, surely it's worth to bring the IQ.
There is definitely a debate there. Is an IQ going to really find out information from the pulse early on? I mean, there is a set distance, of course, on the scanner that you can see from IQ. How often do we see an IQ kill a pulse through the floor? Maybe once in a blue moon. We don't really see IQ get value against a pulse very early on. You know, what you can find with an IQ scanner, you can easily do just by droning the map. Not as if it's a Valcam, where obviously they are much smaller, they're not a person, can be tucked away in numerous locations, whereas a pulse, I think it's much more easier to find out that information.
I think it just seems like Parabellum haven't really got a focus inside of these rounds. Like, they're not going for a top floor clear and then looking to try and execute. Like, we saw a little bit of that in that previous round, but even then the pushes weren't coming in conjunction with one another. It was single challenges, and all the while G2 are that little one step ahead because they know what's coming.
One thing as well to keep in mind is for Parabellum, this isn't going to be the map that we expect them to do well on. At the end of the day, this is G2's map. Is it the biggest thing if they lose this? And oh my word, Citizen went for the zombie window jump out, eliminated the Nomad in Euphoria, and then eventually got traded out because Sorna was just in the right place at the right time. But is there pressure for Parabellum this map? I would say no. I think if we look at G2 and Villa, it always gets banned away from them, and that's for a reason. Teams know how good G2 are on Villa.
Spirit's going to try and clear some of that utility at the bottom of the main stairs now. Penguin maybe looking to gather some intel on the drone. It's going to be Virtue playing at the top of those main stairs on the smoke. Ooh, gets his chance there. Does manage to dish a few shots in. Going to waste a Toxic Babe canister there as the push floods on in. But Spirits, he wasn't waiting around. He wasn't going to get caught in the gas. He was straight through it before it was even detonated. And he's now got control of main stairs, but not for long as Uno comes in like a madman inside of Study. Manages to get one back before being traded himself. A 2 versus 2 now. A lot for Kayak and Kanto to do here. There's a great deal of time on the side of Parabellum, and they have quite a few sightlines to work with. There is going to be a mirror window, but we can see there's no one playing behind that window. Penguin going to try and give himself a little bit more to go on here as Kayak's getting himself into an engagement. Esker, he takes down Kanto. Kayak isn't on the greatest of health, manages to find the down onto Esker, doesn't look for the confirm. Very important stuff. He's got the SMG-11, he hasn't got a load of shots. We are going to see Esker just try and gather a little bit more information before Penguin looks to try and confirm that diffuser. Kayak's heard this and he's going to go for the C4 toss. Surely it's going to hit. No, it goes too long. It deals half damage, but that is not going to be enough. Here's the shots with the SMG-11. Kayak, a triple kill. He's got plenty of time to disable that diffuser. G2, they go 4-1 here on Villa.
The Yak attack, there he is. Wow, what a great clutch from Kayak. Using that mirror window to his advantage, having the information. Wow, what a round. Parabellum looked pretty good for a moment there as well. I love the confidence that Spirits was having, being able to push up those staircases, have those engagements. But G2, some of the positioning that they had really caught Parabellum by surprise. That was the first kill, of course, where that was the zombie window jump out. Citizen immediately gets traded. I love this. This is the thing I'm talking about from Spirits. Straight away, has to make the play, goes in, makes that happen. Uno, who's expecting a mirror just to take a waltz in the study? But I have to question, why is he allowed to do that?
Penguin was obviously caught short there. I don't know if he was on a drone, if he was checking another angle. It was good at least that Penguin was able to get the refrag. You know, that coming down to a 1 versus 1, I think the peace of mind to get the diffuser down in that moment in the spot that Penguin did was really good. It gave him a good chance there, but when you come off that diffuser, you've got so many angles that you have got to check. Penguin was the one that opened up a lot of those angles. Yep. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way that Siege works. When you've got so many angles to check, it's always going to be difficult to try and come away with the kill.
It's been a tough tournament for G2, but you're here now. It's time to show everyone what you're made of in this best of 3, and I think that's the big point, best of 3 only. G2, all we've really seen them play is best of 1s, whereas I think for a team like G2, they thrive in the best of 3 conditions. With the system where it's ban, pick, if they get a map that they like, such as Villa, they will always have a good start.
5 seconds to insertion.
It's going to be the last round here for G2 on the defense. Last round for Parabellum to attack. Going to take us back upstairs into Trophy and Statuary. We've seen some small adjustments come out as well. Kayak this time going to be playing the Frost. Seeing if over the past 5 rounds they've been able to gather any sort of player habits from these guys on Parabellum, anything that they do every single round, and just try and catch them out, place a couple of Frost mats. This is the time, in my opinion.
What mats?
it's specifically bear traps, I think.
No,
is the official name.
what's the name for the mats? Come on.
The frost
Starts
mat.
with P. Come on. Say it.
Nope.
Say it with me. 3 letters.
I don't like the word.
P.
I don't stand with the pog mats.
You said it. You said it. The pog mats are in. G2 actually famed for starting the trend of the pog mat citizen, most notably as well. And we'll see if they can find any of them in this round. Straight off the rip, Parabellum taking that early control downstairs, perhaps fearing in case there is again that potential pulse, which has not been brought again for G2, but because they had it so much, it's kind of struck fear, and now Parabellum have to always second guess themselves just in case there is a pulse.
You get the feeling that everything that G2 are doing in this game is measured and very carefully accounted for. You know, they play the pulse for a couple of rounds, strike the fear into Parabellum, that then works. You bring the frost in the last round of your defense, that then's got the chance of catching somebody out. All of it is adding into that sort of beautiful mind game that they're trying to play here. There are angles being challenged on the vertical, but Virtue is on east stairs with Kanto just at the bottom inside of 90, ready to try and challenge on if required. Kai going to be playing inside of Astro. This time we do have a Jaeger, so that is a more viable location. Kanto looking to make his rotation now up those east stairs as more shots are exchanged vertically. Penguin going to find the opener this time over onto Kayak inside of Astro.
Parabellum utilizing the verticality that you can have from below. A little bit tricky though, you have a lot of those big solid wooden beams, so it can be difficult to land your shots, which I think we saw from Spirits going up against Uno on the mirror. Little bit of issue with that, but still Parabellum have got that opening pick, and they're still pressuring from below. As you can see, 2 players in G2 now trapped inside a trophy, and trapped they will now become dead as those long angles are being engaged. Virtue, a great swing with the SMG, and Uno as well, but it's still down to Virtue, 1 versus 3 for the Aussie. Can he make it happen for himself? He has had one of these moments already inside of this tournament, rotating below, perhaps trying to utilize the C4. That hole's going to be open. Oh, a great shot again for Virtue. 2 more to find though, still going to try and go below, make himself a quick rotate in through library, but now just backs away, moves above, in towards the statue now. 2 players from Parabellum still alive. That mirror window, oh, Virtue! What a shot, and now this is doable. This is definitely doable from the Aussie. Can he move in and find this defuse? Doesn't know who the last one is, though, Ollie. That's the biggest thing. Sonar has still rotated over, has that long angle, and Virtue in a very tricky position. The diffuser in a prime position for Parabellum just to hold down. Sonar, how good is your nerve? Virtue going to try and stick it. Oh, that's going to be a stun. Does he know he's diffusing? He's going to pitch in the Banshee's going to stop it.
No.
Virtue's going to get it. Is he going to have it? No, Sonar! Oh my word, Virtue almost had the clutch of his career, but Sonar just in the nick of time. Wow, 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 wow.
Plant position. It all comes down to plant position from Parabellum. In the heat of the moment, you've got to make sure that diffuser's going down in a position that you can retake from successfully and have good lines of sight. That is what we saw there inside of that round. The Banshee, believe it or not, nearly the difference maker. How many attackers have walked past that Banshee?
What the thing is as well is, whenever he was inside, he starts looking around trying to find him. Like, what are you doing? He's defusing the bomb. Just wow. Wow, wow, wow.
What a display from Virtue, though. You know, the SMG-11 famed for being a difficult gun to control. You've not got a lot of bullets in the magazine. You've got to be accurate. You've got to hit your shots. And he was able to take that 3 versus 1 into a 1 versus 1.
The thing which I think was the game changer for Parabellum was the fact that they had the double rotate into bedroom, which Virtue was not expecting. You get 1 kill, but as we've seen, as he was able to move in towards Trophy, he was expecting the guy to be inside of Astro and maybe in towards bathroom. That was a position that he was not ready for.
Such a tight round. You saw on the replay there with just how little was left on that disable bar. It was right down to the wire. You know, I wouldn't like to put a number on it, but it can't be more than a second that would have been required there for Virtue to be able to get that defuse off. As it stands, it still puts G2 at a 4-2 split here on Villa. So we now change sides. I don't think they're going to be disheartened by that. You know, a big clutch attempt, it is just one of those things. You ideally shouldn't have been left in the 1 versus 3 situation. Now it's time for G2 to see and show us what they have got. They're not going for a very heavy nade lineup either. Instead, just choosing to take the Iana for the time being. No sledge. Instead, Virtue's going to be playing the book.
Oh, Kanto almost being taken out. Quick aggressive standpoint from Eska right off the rip, who has been doing pretty well so far inside of this game. 6 kills, and nobody actually from both teams have got above 6 kills right now. Kills being distributed very evenly across everyone. No real front runner has kind of started off yet. Still seeing who's going to step up and be that MVP for this game, which is definitely there for both teams. Who knows? Now we have that side switch all in. How many times have we seen a team lose the first half but win it in the second?
Especially on a map like Villa, you know, there are opportunities here. It's debatable as to which side Villa, you know, falls on in terms of attacker or defender split. It comes down to the matchup on the day, the operator bans. There's a lot more that goes into it than just saying flat out, this is a defender-sided map or this is an attacker-sided map. But there are possibilities for rounds to be gained here. Now, we can attest a lot of the rounds that G2 gained down to good information when they were on the defense. That was really something that paid dividends for them. Now we're seeing a nice slow and steady approach here from Virtue as he's got himself underneath with the skeleton key. Book's such a great operator here on Villa. It isn't going to do anything in terms of the opening engagement though, because Citizen will fall to Spirits as he gets taken out there. Virtue has managed now to destroy both of those mirrors though. He's removed both of the canisters, and that's going to make the job a little bit easier when it comes to pushing on through. Uno with the aggression here, can't find the angle. Penguin with the double swing does manage to take him down. That's 2 kills there that have gone unresponded. Spirits has found himself down, but this is going bad for G2. Currently a 5 versus 2, effective 4 versus 2, as there's a lot here for Kayak to do. He's going to be able to pick up Spirits and finish off the down player in Penguin. So he does something to try and level things back up here, but there isn't a great deal of time to be working with him with a C4 coming in from below. It puts Virtue in a clutch once again. Sono with the last 2.
Wow, G2. Everyone dying on that staircase. Trying to pressure from below, but the pressure was not being applied to the correct position. They needed to try and target the 2 guys on the staircase. I think maybe G2 kind of getting in that tunnel vision mode where it's all about destructibility from below. One person misses their shots and then everything kind of crumbles. I think if Uno had got that first kill as he was moving up the staircase, that would have been much more different. But because it's a very different, it's a different
Look at the angle,
as we know.
Look at the angle.
It's so tough. We'll probably see it here. That, you know, look where Spirits is prone. Fire so many shots, just cannot hit it. And I mean, fair play, Penguin had excellent cover, the positioning, and I think the game awareness that he had really won over Parabellum in that round.
And that's how you've got to play that when Wamai's banned. You know, don't forget, if Wamai was available here, we'd be seeing Wamai magnets placed on that main stairs, and it would just become a utility dump for the attackers. They would have to throw, you know, 6 stun grenades at it, a couple of grenades, maybe as a field lifeline, whatever it was to get the job done, remove that shield and remove the player. But now with Wamai being banned, you've got to play it as a buddy system. You have to have somebody there that's willing to swing and peek around that corner.
Interesting. Tactical timeout from G2, only 1 round into their attacks. Huh. What are you thinking about this one? Can you look at Shas and read his mind?
I mean, Shas is the expert in this field, isn't he? You know, tactical timeout isn't going to be used here unless it is deemed necessary.
Yep.
I think
there he is. If people don't know Shas, that's him. There he is.
There's obviously something that went wrong there in that round fundamentally, maybe just sort of dragging people back a little bit of over-aggression, not really committing to the plan, whatever it might be. Maybe they had a really specific plan for the take for that Aviator games room, and it just didn't come out when they got themselves into the server. So things are going to continue as the tactical timeout does only last for 45 seconds. So it does go by quite quickly. But they've obviously been able to discuss and chat something. Obviously, I guess the reason why you bring it up, you know, what do you think about it at this sort of early stage is we've only seen one of Parabellum's defenses here.
That's the strange bit.
Usually you would at least wait to see 2 or 3 sites. But by that point, if you leave it in this circumstance, that would put Parabellum actually on 5 rounds. 5-4. So you kind of want to try and get ahead of that a little bit.
Let's not question Chas, you know?
I'm not.
There's a reason why he's the most decorated coach. There's a reason, there's a method to the madness. He's a bit of a Mad Hatter, I would say. If you know the character of him, but I'm sure he knows how to get his boys well drilled into the game, and they're going to have to pull it out now as they have another round to go through on their attack. Parabellum with a statue and trophy hold, and they're actually going to extend all the way over to Aviator in games as well. We would see this quite often, I think, from a lot of teams, being able to try and defend the entirety of the top floor. A little bit risky, spread yourself pretty thin, but it's still another challenge that G2 have to go up against now.
Virtue going to be playing the IQ here. It was something that we discussed and spoke about whenever Parabellum were on the attack. Sona going to be playing the Echo, so there's value. You know, Echo's changes obviously don't make IQ essential here, but ooh, that is not going to help things at all. That's the second round in a row, both attacking rounds so far. G2 have actually lost that opening engagement, and it's been Spirits, the player on the side of Parabellum, that has been getting himself out there as that Jaeger, as that quintessential roamer, and finding that opening pick. Unresponded. I'm not sure where Kanto actually got taken out from there, but you can probably bet that a lot of his air jabs went down. You can see him there just at the top of the main stairs. Unfortunate stuff there for G2. It's going to give a little bit more freedom now to Parabellum, especially if they do want to play any rotates. But Virtue!
Disgusting. Virtue, waking up big time. Of course, almost had that clutching. See if he can maybe find some more kills on the attack on that IQ as well. An operator that you kind of alluded to and thought, hey, why aren't we seeing any IQ play from Parabellum? But one thing from Parabellum is the Echo. They're a big fan of that operator, and on a very heavy roam map such as Villa, and especially with the changes to Echo, we now kind of see it be transitioned towards more of an addition to help the roamers. You have the Echo drones kind of follow through, scan out the information for the roamers, and it gives you those kills. So I think the IQ pick, it's the correct one from G2, and they should be able to find the Echo drones. And I say that, there it is. Virtue finds the first one.
I mean, you don't really need the scanner for that one, do you, when it's Baldur's Brass on the ceiling, but it'll get the job done nonetheless. The push now coming in from the top of those east stairs. Esker going to find a frag over onto Kayak. Kayak really struggling to get actually anywhere close there. You saw him get a bit of unfortunate timing with his drone, tossing it over out onto the balcony and then getting immediately caught inside of a jammer. I don't believe the wall has been opened. Nope. So it's going to be very difficult now for G2 to make this approach. It's going to be a good old single doorway, single window approach. Citizen, he's maybe shaping up to hop his way on through, but there is going to be a laser gate in his way, a castle barricade as well. There's just so much to wade through here. And that shield on top of the bed, it just gives everything to Penguin. He can basically play there for as long as he likes. The utility is dwindling on the side of G2, as is the clock.
Here we go, the jump in. Uno is going to have to try and take up the mantle as that player gets down, but no, Parabellum locked them all out. Penguin with the final kill, and now we have evened up the scores. 4 rounds apiece. Penguin, I'm surprised that he was allowed to sit in that position, Ollie, because that has been shown in their match against Makers. That was a highlight with the deployable shield in the bed, in the corner, and he picks up so many kills. G2, I don't know, maybe missed that round, I don't know, but that should have been something I thought they would be ready for.
We've seen Penguin do that before, haven't we? With the laser gate, the Surrey gate, the castle barricade,
shield, yep, everything.
3 ADSs, mute jammers, and a deployable shield. The kitchen sink inside of master bedroom, which is kind of an unusual place to put a kitchen sink, I'll be honest with you. But that is what Parabellum like to do here. Now, G2, they knew that. They knew that going into that round, and that's why we saw such a heavy push coming from the Aviator games room side. However, they lost first blood.
Yeah.
Never ideal, let's be honest. They lose Kanto early, and all of a sudden that just gives a bit of a lack into the push that's coming in from that side. You're then not able to aggressively challenge on and look to try and root out the player that's going to be playing inside a master bedroom. You never know what the plan was for those air jabs. Maybe they were looking to burn all the ADSs, throw the air jab in there, and then yoink him to the other side of the room. Yep. It could have been something as crazy as that. That wasn't, whatever the plan was, it wasn't able to be brought on through, and we just saw it be such a powerful position that G2, I think, initially maybe tried to avoid, and then got into a position where they couldn't avoid it for much longer because their original plan hadn't really worked.
5 seconds to go. So kitchen hold next for Parabellum, and their setup, oh, the same mirror window again that I'm not the biggest fan of, simply because it's a clear sightline onto, if you're on Ash Repel, very easy to get rid of. And even in towards China as well, that's also a risky one. You could get shot from behind if a player from G2 takes a little trip downstairs in through the basement and up the staircase. So Parabellum, very risky with some of their placements. We'll see if it works for them though. And again, this pulse, said, this operator is great for Villa.
It's almost carbon copies of the lineups really that we saw from either team here. Now the trick about having a good defense is you need to know what the weaknesses are into that said defense. So
pantry take perhaps?
G2 may be coming up with, like you say, Demo, a pantry take here as Kayak's just going to get himself and drone on in. I think Virtue was maybe just destroying one of the mute jammers there with the nade that he tossed on through a little bit earlier from the book. Still only 2 nades. being brought here on the side of G2 as we're not seeing Iana in this round. Opening kill this time for Kanto. That is what we needed to see from G2. Manages to take down Penguin.
And that's an important kill because Castle was making sightlines onto the pantry. And now with him being eliminated, that frees up G2 a little bit more to be able to push in towards Kitchen. Euphoria, though, has the trade-off and still a 4 versus 4. Uno, I think, was by himself towards Library, so nobody there for the refrag. But Kayak gets a trade nonetheless. And oh, perhaps another for Kayak. Peeks up. Oh, and G2, they're just going to try and walk into the bomb site. Eska is ready for Citizen. And Kayak perhaps ready to go for the mantle.
Kayak's tossed out some stun grenades there. He's going to go for a push on through, but Eska is ready. Those flashes not affecting him at all. Virtue now left to try and wiggle peek his way on through. He's got multiple angles to work with, but that mirror window is just going to be so powerful in this instance. He inevitably gets swung by Spirits, and it leaves everything to do for Kanto. He's going to try and use his utility now to get a little bit of stuns out. Finds it down, finds a wallbang headshot. This is doable. This is a 1 versus 1. The C4 from Euphoria. It keeps Parabellum in it, and they take a lead.
Wow, Parabellum very close from choking that round. Just a few bullets through the wall was enough to pick up a double kill. But still, Parabellum once again not giving G2 these clutches, being able to shut it down. They make it tough for themselves, Ollie. They really do. But still, a round is a round, no matter how you want it.
Not easy at all. I'm wondering where that C4 was. Was it pre-placed at the top of the door?
I think he just threw it, just in the heat of the moment. Well, obviously you're seeing the replay, but I'm pretty sure
there was a lot going on in the heat of the moment there. And I think Kanto has he's done exceptionally well there to get the wall bang. You know, wall bang, downs a player, hits the wall bang headshot. His teammates will have been able to call out that he got the down as well because of obviously the point system. One of them will be holding tab. Let's see where the C4 actually comes from here if we can.
He just tosses it, does he? Should do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Great stuff there from Euphoria. Full white flash at the end, but another second.
Again, that was lucky because if that C4 did not connect, he's full blind. Kanto wins that all day of the week. You have to give credit to Eska. Massive, massive performance from him so far. In that round specifically, he won that one against Citizen, which is not an easy thing to do, as we know. If he had not secured that kill, that would have gave full side control over to G2. Eska then would not have been able to kill Kak as he runs in for the diffuser, and then Jaeger is going to be left inside of, you know, pretty much a 1 versus 3, having so many different angles he needs to watch out for. So Eska, all credit to him, playing a blinder.
Currently +6 KD, so contributing heavily in terms of kills. There's no one really on the side of G2 that's standing out that much in the kill department in terms of a positive KD. Kayak's up there with +3, but
he's a support.
That's what we mean, you know, as a supporting player. I think Kayak had a good couple of rounds there on the defense, but as the hard breach, sorry, you're not looking for him to make any real entry kills, or you know, you win your ones and all that sort of stuff, but you're not looking to him for a large portion of the frags, and that's something that needs to be picked up elsewhere. Speaking of elsewhere, Citizen gonna find a kill over onto Sona. Opening blood going in favour of G2 this time. Something that we have seen them struggle with a little bit previously, but over the past couple of rounds, it has started to swing back in their favour.
So now Citizen has transferred into his scary state where it's just him. He goes in by himself and he just makes things happen. He is like a silent assassin. You have no idea where he's going to come from and he hits you like a truck. Basically for Parabellum, now they always have to watch out because you have no idea where he is. And G2 are still going to carry on. The other 4 players are going to stick to the plan, but Citizen is just going to lurk, do his own thing, and he will reward G2 with kills. We've seen him do it throughout this competition. This is whenever he's in his element. He just wants to go for the kills, and you'll see him ramp up in towards those double digits, easily.
Kanto going to be able to place an air jab out onto the doorway. It's going to give G2 some time to drone out and figure out what they're going to do with this take. They've not gone for as much vertical control. Virtue hasn't been underneath making a mess with the skeleton key. That's something that could come a little bit later on, though. We do still have a good deal of time left, over a minute, in fact. Citizen just holding on to the bottom of main stairs. Uno, in fact, is going to be the one to play underneath, trying to destroy some of the shields. Oh, unfortunately for him, he isn't actually going to get the shield. He's just going to open up the floor.
Still has another concussion, though. Can still utilize it, and there we go. There goes the impact. And unless the shield gone, so Parabellum have to fall back and kind of stay in towards their bomb site. G2 don't really know what they're going for. A little bit of main stairs, a little bit of the vault as well being opened up, so bit of a mix for G2.
Time running short. Kayak going to try and open up that vault wall, but he's coming up against some mute jammers that are just going to slow him down. Not sure if that is in fact going to be resolved. Toxic Babe canisters cutting off the push in toward Maps. Virtue going to take a chunk of damage there as he hops himself outside. Maybe now going to try and go underneath, but Virtue is the diffuser carrier as well. This is going to be pretty messy here from both these sides. Citizen's going to have to get himself on in and find some frags because it's unlikely to see a plant go down at this point. Spirits finds one. Uno comes in with a bit of a trade, and Penguin eventually will fall. All now lands in the hands of Kayak. The time is going to hit 0 before anything can be done about it. Parabellum, they slowed G2 down. They take another round and they put themselves onto a match point.
That single mute jammer on the wall of the vault was enough to delay the round for G2, and from that you're running into a bottleneck, into a choke point, and they quite literally just got choked out. Smoke going in, shotguns fire out. G2, lost words right now. Don't know where they're going.
They lacked direction there inside of that round. There was key things that we would expect to be dealt with just not happening. Virtue, very little impact with the skeleton key. Considering the difference that we saw previously when they attacked that site, he got himself underneath, and sure, it didn't all go G2's way, but he was still able to get a couple of the shots off and move the players around inside of the site. That didn't happen. We also didn't see the mute jammer removed from the vault wall. That then essentially renders Kayak useless in his utility because he can't do anything. His entire round was on that 90 repel, on that 90 window. And if the mute jammer is still there, what are you able to do about it? The big difference, there wasn't a single frag grenade brought by the side of G2. One single frag grenade. One single frag would have been all it took to get rid of that mute jammer. Yeah, you're going to have to put something else in there. You're going to have to put a lifeline or some stun grenades, but that is just what it is. You would seriously be able to get that vault wall open, and they didn't have that.
Yep, one nade for the drone hole, and that's it. Problem solved. No issues at all. And I think even more so as well is that for G2, they usually don't miss out things like that. Like if they know, okay, we need to get this open, they will throw everything that they have to get rid of that, but they just could not do it.
They could have done it with what they had. All the vertical control.
Could have fired it.
Skeleton key. There's a number of things that could have happened. You know, all you've got to do is drive a drone past that reinforced wall on vault. The drone gets stopped and you're like, huh, probably a mute jammer behind that. Let's go and deal with it. They had all the control they needed. Citizen got the opening pick, and I don't think anybody roamed on the ground floor from the side of Parabellum.
Parabellum and their defense, very, very strong. Big performances from them as well. This is not their map pick. This is not the map that we expect them to win. But they are giving it to G2. Is that a case of G2 on their attacks pretty sloppy? I would say yes. I think there is a deal to kind of look at and think, yeah, I think G2 have not played the greatest of their attacks. But you have to give credit to Parabellum. Players have stepped up where they were needed, whereas G2 struggling to find one man who can do it all.
Yet to find success here on the attack. Oh, it's going to be a freebie for Sona. An absolute freebie.
Ironic.
As he's able to take down the painting, toss the C4 all the way on through. The pulse gets pulsed there, Demo. Uno playing pulse pretty much every single round for the side of G2 when they're on the defense. And now he's going to be feeling the sharp end of that on the attack.
He held all the power of information, but not even that could save him. G2, a player down. Uno gone. Sophia, big utility operator. And Parabellum in the driver's seat to send this one home. Take a one-map advantage against G2 as we head into our second map later on. But for now, can G2 pull it back? Oh no, it's not looking good for them. Parabellum are turning on the afterburners and they are slowly moving away from G2. They cannot catch them. G2 trying their best to catch up, and Virtue himself looking for a kill, but it's just not going to be enough right now. Parabellum have to sit back, relax, and let G2 boil in their own sweat. Parabellum, Ollie, this is their round to lose.
They've got everything going in their favor. We're into the final minute now, and they still have all 5 players alive. 5 versus 3, and with the utility that has been lost on the side of G2, you know, you think toward the Sophia lifeline and the Ash breaching round. That's so crucial when it comes to your attacking pushes. Spirits is just going to go for a swing, takes down Virtue. It's a dance that has been dancing for quite some time now. Sona finds another over onto Kanto, and Kayak left in the 1 versus 5. This is match point here for Parabellum. 25 seconds, Kayak has to find all 5 kills here. Picks up the first over onto Sona, can't grab the second. Eska with the shutdown. Parabellum, they take Villa.
5 rounds in a row on the defense. G2 not getting a single attack. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A game of 2 halves. 100%. Like I said, Ollie, one team can lose the first half, but they can come out swinging in the second. And Parabellum did just that. Eske, top performance from him. Can he carry on for map 2?
Map 2 is going to be Parabellum's map pick as well, so we'll have to see. We're going to throw it to our experts. They're going to break that one down for you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. As they say, se vis passem Parabellum.
Yes.
I've been playing
They do, Milosh, I believe.
All the time, mate, every day.
It's...
We regularly say that.
Who wishes for war, prepare. Who wishes for peace, prepare for war. It was the highlight of Maestro's introduction into the game, and which villa we were just playing on. Come on, it's the name of the team, Parabellum. That's where it comes. Come on, man.
Got you, mate. Go on.
Honestly, I'm very, very impressed by what Parabellum offered today, because we're saying, you know what? Is it going to be a best of 1 team? You know, they're maybe not really warming up to it. They looked impressive in Villa.
We were sat there at 4-1 saying, really, one more round here to make this a 4-2 half would be wonderful to get things going for Parabellum. Otherwise, G2 sit in 5-1. You think a couple of rounds, they can get that on one of their main go-to maps. But honestly, in that second half, Parabellum just running disruption 24/7 that it felt like G2 simply weren't ready to deal with. The C4s being thrown out, the disruptions out on the roam. Really beautiful to see. And although there were a couple of close rounds that came down to 1v1s, it really felt for the most part like Parabellum had the run of the mill on, again, G2's map selection.
Well, the thing for me, Des, was we saw in the early couple of rounds that G2 came out with some great vertical play. You and I sat and watched Uno and Kayak underneath just absolutely decimate the Parabellum attack. They were combining the pulse and the mute. They got a nitro kill. They got a vertical gunfire kill. It was great play from them. But then it was almost like Parabellum just stepped up to that and sort of said, right, you want vertical play? You want C4s through holes in walls? Hold my drink, let me bring it. And that's exactly what Parabellum did, and they really smashed it out of the park, to be honest. And a best of 3, is it just 3 best of 1s? No fear from them.
It's what I mean.
That is a very good way to put it.
The point on the whole vertical thing, it wasn't really until round 6 that Parabellum had an answer to that they sent someone downstairs, and they didn't really ever climb the downstairs vertical anyway. And I thought, well, at least there's someone down there looking to disrupt or at least be in the way of. But again, G2 good first half, but Parabellum second half. Don't take him to Villa, boys.
So you look at Villa. Now, you can say, don't take him to Villa, but what were the strong pieces that they showed on Villa that would be helpful in future maps?
The disruption. I think time and time again, we've said all tournament long, the best way to get up in the face of Sun teams and make them sweat is just to waste their time. Even if you're getting up in their face and not necessarily burning through kills, getting rid of players, it's burning through utility, it's wasting time. So when it comes around to the final 20-30 seconds, you've got to make it all happen, do or die. It's going to bite you.
It's just, as you said, as closing teams down and just giving them one opportunity. And unfortunately, for a team like G2 at the minute, one opportunity is not enough. No. Mistakes are happening. Things aren't clicking every single time. So if you force them into one attempt at an execute, it's going to be tough for them round after round. And that's the position they find themselves in. Parabellum, as Des says, just needs to stop G2 playing their game.
Here's the map by the numbers. We'll bring up the graphic for everybody watching at home, just to see in case you missed the scoreboard in just a second here. This is all in preparation, of course, for map 2 Café Dostoevsky. Possibilities of seeing a clubhouse before we dig into the stats.
I mean,
rain or shine?
I said 2-0 Parabellum. I think they can take this now, given they've just dominated G2. Well, dominated. They've done very well on G2's map, and going into Café, where Echo is going to shine, it has to get banned out to my mind.
I mean, Des called me Mr. Positivity yesterday, Milosh, and that's what I'm going to try and do. I cannot believe that G2 are going to go out of this tournament without even making a fight of it and getting themselves a map and taking us all the way to 3. I really do think that we see that reversal again, whereby a team takes each other's map. Des has got a grin at the minute. I'm sure he's going to weigh in, but for me, I just think there's still a big game here in G2.
Ace is like that ray of sunshine when you sat in the shade and there's just that single ray that comes through the trees and hits you in the eyes and you wish it would go away sometimes. With those kind of statements, I get where you're coming from, Ace. G2 are a team that we know can perform. We've seen them do it in the regular stage. They started EUL Stage 1. Fantastic attacking team and some questions to ask on the defense. On Villa, when we saw that defense, I thought, great, they've figured out defense. Does that mean their attacks are still going to be strong and they'll play really well here? No apparently turned out to be the answer, but going into Cafe, I'm hoping there's a small change. It's a map that played quite a bit before. Fingers crossed here they can do something, but again, it is Parabellum's map choice.
I know that when Pengu was on G2, G2 had never lost a single game versus a North American team. He's no longer here, so I guess, you know, carte blanche, you can do whatever you want.
One thing we didn't talk about, actually, you mentioned this at the very start, and I'll definitely credit Ace for this. The teams that G2 have beat at this tournament so far have all gone home. They haven't beat any team that's still here.
That's true.
And that's looking to continue if Cafe doesn't go the right way.
It just goes to say something about the wins that they have picked up, and it's no slight on the teams that they have beaten. You know, they've all come through and given good performances, but 2 of those games, Des, were very, very close. Cloud9 7-5